Friday frenzy when we talk about everything real estate the last week.
Yeah.
And today we're talking about expired listings when people can't sell their properties with a real estate agent. Stay tuned.
Okay, there goes another week, guys. It is literally blowing my mind. I looked up at a date on a clock that we've got in the office, and I was looking at it and I was going, hang on a sec, August? What happened to the year? Like, I know, people talk about how the days and the weeks fly by. I truly think as you get older, the weeks do go quicker.
That's true.
It's
And
just
it's not going to be long
crazy.
before we're getting Christmas jingles coming out of the stores and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's happening. It's happening.
Next thing you know,
We're talking like old people.
Yeah.
We do that, guys. You know, Mark and I go walking every morning and we'll be like, what a nice old building. Gosh, if those walls could talk. And I'm like, I'm sounding like a grandma.
You ask someone what that tree is, you're like, I would never give a shit about what sort of tree that is. Now you're, what tree is that? That's a beautiful
So
tree.
true. And also this morning, Mark was like, I can't hear you. What? I can't hear you. And I said, we have this conversation more and more as we get older. We can't hear each other. We're not really that old yet.
No.
All right, guys, let's talk about expired listings. It's a big, hot topic at the moment.
Yes. And if you haven't realised, it's pretty hard to find the data as a consumer when you're buying how long a place is on the market. And you sort of know because it's been hanging around a bit and hasn't sold, the one next door, the one across the road, the signboards that have been up a while in your hood. But there's metrics called days on market. And those metrics have actually doubled or tripled in most suburbs for all properties.
So how many days a property has actually been sitting on the market? It's got to be in the top 3 questions we get asked from buyers when they come through properties.
Yeah.
It's an interesting conversation at the moment because it's kind of a little bit not relevant, depending on how many days, though.
And if you're a seller at the moment, you would be climatized to the last year or two of real estate, where days on market was more like 15 days average for the suburb, 20 days average for the suburb, and that's blown out to 60 to 90 days in a lot of suburbs
at the moment.
Sydney.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Are you going to be okay? Is it your agent? Is it your property?
Is it the market?
Is it the market? Is it your marketing? There's those sort of things that are running through people's mind, and people are second guessing all of those things when they're selling their place. But the big thing the saving grace is that it's all relative. And something that I realised through COVID is as long as you're all in it together, it just makes its way, it just works itself out. For some funny reason, when you're alone or when it's only your property or only your sector of, for instance, business, then you're really stuffed.
I don't know if I really agree with what you're saying. Sorry, I'm going to disagree here. Because, and I feel really passionately, there's two topics. There's 2 topics I feel really.
What I just said?
Don't stop with me. There's two topics that I feel very passionately about. One is in the real estate world. One is social media, and the other is what we call the post-market cleanup. So yes and no, Mark. There is a certain time in a campaign where a vendor just needs to draw a line in the sand and say, I've had enough. Like, I've actually had enough.
I wasn't talking about that, though.
What were you talking about?
Like, as long as you're all, like, with interest rates going up, as an example, when it's going up for everyone.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand that.
There's a saving grace there. When it's COVID, for everyone, there's a saving grace there. And that's what I learned in the last year or two, that there's a beautiful equalizer, and sometimes industries are isolated and affected only, and then you're like, oh my God, what do I do? But when it's the whole marketplace that's being affected, and for instance, drilling back to days on market, it is a common theme across all marketplaces.
Yeah.
Do you still disagree with me?
In certain respects, I do. So, here's the thing. I mean, I just did an interview at the beginning of the week with Tom Panos.
Yes.
On expired listings.
Massive.
It went ballistic. It actually went ballistic. And how are we able to sell these properties that have expired or that have been sitting on the market for too long, that when other agents couldn't sell them. So Kangaroo Street Manly is an example.
Yeah.
Well, it's the most recent one. Yeah. So it was a tricky property, a 2-bedroom apartment in Manly without parking that had been on the market with another very local agent, great agent as well, for about 4 months, and they didn't get a result, and we managed to get one within a matter of days. It was a company title.
Yes.
They did not permit pets. The lady who had purchased the property or was looking to buy it at the time had a dog.
Yes.
And this was a very, very tricky sale. Now, how were we able to get this property sold within a matter of days when the local agent couldn't get it sold within months? There is a strategy to it, and it comes down to 3 things, what I consider is the Bible: price, product, promotion. Now, when you get all of those 3 factors aligned, you will get a sale. You will certainly get an offer. And Mark, bear in mind, again, this is a property that had been on the market. Guys, we're talking about expired listings this morning. It's a big hot topic at the moment, properties that have been sitting on the market for too long, and then we're coming along and managing to sell them within a matter of days or weeks. It's not luck, it's strategy. This is all about strategy. So, price, product, promotion, price, product, promotion. Often I'll go through, I will burn that campaign. I will not reuse another agent's photos. I will build the campaign and make it look like a completely different property.
Yeah.
Putting a new price on there is not negotiable. If the vendor won't do all the things that I need them to do, I won't actually take on the listing.
And blaming the market's not a solution.
Well, it's not, because we've been selling the property.
Stuff selling, a lot of stuff selling. And I think sometimes agents at the moment or sellers at the moment are saying, look, it's just not the market. It's not. Everything is sellable all of the time.
Well, if you put a $1 price tag on a property, is it going to sell?
Sold.
So it often is coming down to price.
Yeah.
It often is coming down to marketing.
Yep.
Has the marketing been sitting online for more than a couple of weeks? I've got a property, an expired listing at the moment, and we're already 1 week in. I've had endless amounts of people coming through the property, but I'm redoing the photos again. We're 1 week in.
Yep. And this is what I feel. Do you remember I said at the beginning of the segment, we're all in it together?
Yeah.
And as long as it's relative in the marketplace, it is. It has never been a better time in the last 10 years to upgrade your property. The mortgage that you are taking on is smaller. The changeover is smaller than if you did the same move a year or 2 ago.
I couldn't agree with you more.
So if you did say for instance you're selling a 1-bedroom today, 600,000, 650,000. You're buying a 2-bedroom for 800,000. Your changeover is 150,000. That you would have gotten 50 grand, maybe more for that one better, but you would have been paying $1 million.
That's right. So the gap is bigger.
150 changeover compared to a 300 changeover.
Exactly.
That's the mortgage you're taking for 25 or 30 years.
Yeah.
So it is no better time, if you're fortunate to have good financials, to get the money and do an upgrade. There is no better time. You're not going to be happy about the price that you're selling for, but you're going to be happy about the price you're buying for.
Yeah, that's right.
Mortgage that you're taking on, the changeover, guys, the changeover. It's
really important. So I actually did an appraisal on for a really beautiful property on Tuesday, and that vendor said to me, God, I really wish that we had sold in November. I said, no, you don't. You actually don't. And that was the conversation that we had.
I can't believe it. You know what it is? People remember pain more than they remember pleasure. People remember pain more than they remember pleasure.
Yeah.
So in the moment, it's like, shit, I wish I sold it in November. But it's like, hang on a second, let's go back over that. And when you
break it down,
break it down, look at the pleasure, look at the pain.
And remember, people couldn't buy it. But remember, people couldn't buy it. And I reminded this vendor of that. I said, do you remember why you didn't put your property on the market in November? These guys were wanting to move to Chatswood. And I said, you couldn't find anything. Yep. You were literally scared that you were going to be homeless. And this was a conversation that we were having over and over. But I just want to get back to the expired listing thing, Mark. There's a really good interview, guys. There's a snippet of it on our social media. The full interview is actually sitting on the Real Estate Gym with Tom Panos. As I said, it was it was really, really great content, because what we're able to do is we're able to throw out a lifeline to people that are drowning in this current market and cannot get their properties sold. As I said, it's not luck that's involved. It is strategy.
Yeah.
In many ways, I feel like we've cracked the Da Vinci Code with it. I really do. And, you know, that one, that lovely two-bedder that we sold last week in Manly was, you know, we've sold plenty like that. I could give you a huge long list, guys, of expired listings that we've sold in very short periods of time. But it's also important to remember, because there's certain characteristics that I find with these vendors that have been sitting around for too long, Mark, on the market.
Yeah.
They're tired.
Yep.
They're burnt.
Yep.
They're emotionally drained.
Yep.
And they're completely spent with respect to money.
And so are the agents.
And so are the agents, incidentally. Yeah, that's
and maybe
a good point.
Put a bit of negative in there.
Well, you know, it's, you know, you turn up week after week, day after day, you know, trying to get this property sold. Imagine you're 4 months down the line.
It's like going to the gym and not getting a result.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. What else this week?
Yeah.
What did you look at me like that for?
Because I was just thinking about how I don't go to the gym.
That was my fault.
Let's say good morning to some people, because I saw Robin's on here.
Michelle.
Good morning, Rob. Hope you're well.
Lukey Legend.
Good morning to everyone who's
Best
tuned
buyers
in.
agent in the business. Rob, g'day. Plenty of people.
Good morning. Michelle's just made a beautiful comment there as well. This is why Novaks are my go-to in the industry. You tell it like it is. You know what? Thank you, Michelle. But it's really important that we do that, because there's often some blurred lines in real estate.
You walk in the morning, Luke just said.
Yeah, we do actually. Yeah, I'm still in my walking gear, but we do. No, we definitely do. You know, there's often blurred lines in our industry, and it's important that we just report the facts. That's really, really important.
Yes.
Everyone is a rock star agent when the market's roaring hot. Everyone has, you'll notice on their Instagram, suburb record, block record. We haven't seen much of that lately.
I'm seeing prices disguised.
Oh, let's talk about that.
So
Can we talk about price guides?
So you used to have prices everywhere. Sold it for this, sold it for that, sold it for this, sold it for that, sold it for this, sold it for that. And now you go on realestate.com and it's like, no price sold, no price sold, no price sold.
But you know what? Agents are rock stars. You know why agents? But Mark, agents are rock stars at the moment because they're listing property. So 3 months ago it was because they were selling it, and right now it's like, I got a listing, and it's like, hang on a sec, this is what we're meant to do.
Yeah.
You're just doing your job, right? If you're listing and selling property, you're actually just doing your job, talking about telling it how it is. Let's talk about guides and why we're not seeing a lot of price guides on property at the moment, and we're not seeing a lot of sold guides. Let's talk about it.
So when people are putting an asking price on the property, they're not putting a price.
Yeah, so property, you know, say for instance, as an example, I will list a property today and it says contact agent.
Yes.
Annoying or not annoying? For
a buyer,
yeah.
So annoying.
So annoying.
So annoying.
Yeah.
What's it telling? Why? What's it telling the market? What's it telling people when you're putting a property on the market, you're not putting a price guide? Well, it's a little bit like auction, basically, but not even saying auction. It's just saying.
So there's many reasons that is done, and I agree. I'll be honest, out of my 20 odd listings I've got at the moment, I've got a couple that don't have a price guide. I will never, ever just put contact agent. I will never do it. That to me says, don't call me.
Well, it's pretty obvious.
But hang on.
Like to say contact agent on an ad, it's like.
Yeah, but why? Oops. But why? And let me tell you.
Who else are you going to contact?
Let me tell you why, guys. Sometimes you've got a vendor who says, no, I don't want a price on there. No, I don't agree to the guide that you want to put on there as an agent.
Yes.
And so our hands are kind of tied, right? And that's the situation with a couple of my properties at the moment.
Yes.
I can't stand not having a guide. I can't stand it. It irritates me.
Irritates buyers.
It irritates buyers. I like to do things that work for people.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, that does not.
Well, it's sort of like the sellers going through a discovery process rather than selling their property.
Yeah, it takes a little while. And usually they'll come around after a couple of days, like, put the guide on, whatever.
We've already finished the show.
I could talk forever.
Hey, can I talk about something that we're not allowed to talk about?
Oh God, I'm scared.
It's Friday Frenzy. We just talk about stuff during the week. What?
The vape.
The vape. Like, talk about, and I was having a bit of a chat.
It's kind of everywhere.
What happened to the vape?
What happened to the cigarette?
What happened to the cigarette? But who owns all these vapes? And I thought they were illegal.
Well, we said that last night because I said to Mike, because we went out to the most incredible restaurant in Petersham, by the way.
My number one restaurant in Australia.
I feel ill from how much food we ate there. It's called Silvers, Silvas.
Yes.
If you're ever in Sydney, don't go thinking it's like a Maryvale style restaurant.
No.
This is hardcore nostalgia.
Yeah.
This is, you know, when you think of garlic bread and it's dripping in butter and you've got like garlic all over it.
Yeah.
And it's salty and it is the most insane Portuguese food.
It is a half chicken shop, half restaurant.
Oh, it's unreal. We went there last night with someone who used to work with us.
Not fancy,
but I feel ill. We ate so much food. But on the way there, we were watching all the vapors on the street.
And before they used to hide them in the counter, and they held up this thing and now they have advertised. There's no tax being paid on them, on these guys, because it's not like liquor tax or tobacco tax. There, and I'm thinking, like, the world has changed. It's not good for you. And
no one knows yet.
Nobody talks about the vape.
Nobody talks about it. Nobody knows. The vape,
and you see them all in the street.
But I said to you last night as we were driving to Petersham, I was like, man, those cigarette companies, they must be out of a lot of money. And what did you say?
I reckon I don't know what you say. This is real conspiracy. But
this is just an opinion. But everyone's entitled to it.
I reckon the cigarette companies own the vape companies. Like, you can't tell me those multi-million dollars, super clever cigarette companies aren't sort of in on it.
But it is, talk about a pandemic. Like, everyone.
Vape.
It's unbelievable. That many people never used to smoke. Like, we go walking in the morning, Mark, and you literally see everyone everywhere is vaping.
And what's it going to look like in the next 3, 5, 7 years? That's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's incredible.
That's Friday Frenzy.
Just off topic. Morning, Michael. Morning, Connie. That's it, guys. We've taken up enough of everyone's morning.
If an agent doesn't have confidence in the price of property he's selling, he shouldn't take it to the market. I agree. Connie.
But hang on. But let's just go back a few minutes, Michael, because it's not necessarily about that. Sometimes, and I am an advocate for having guides on properties. It drives me nuts, right? It actually does. But sometimes we're having to dance around a vendor, right? And so vendors will say no. And so my conversation to the vendor is, okay, we'll do it your way for a few days, and then we're going to do it my way. Let's see what happens with that inquiry level. But it can be tricky sometimes if you've got a hard vendor.
You're right. But it's almost like a call to market when you take that price off with an owner and saying, look, we'll just call to the market and see what they're going to say.
Yeah.
Connie's saying, missed you lately, excellent advice, real estate agent, call agent, my pet peeve. I don't understand why it says call agent on
the contact agent drives me nuts. And vaping is actually more harmful than ciggies. Yeah,
it's got to be deadly.
I probably tend to agree with you.
It's got to be deadly. It's unproven. It's unproven.
All right, guys, that's it. Woo, we could talk all day.
That's a show.
See ya. Have an awesome week.
Enjoy your weekend, and that's everything.
See you guys.
Bye.